What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. Took some time off. Took a little time off, but we're here doing the damn thing once again. I know I was trying to get into my YouTube era. I posted one video and then moved back home and. But today we're going to be talking about this painting here. It's inspired from a trip I took to the country my mom is from, Denmark. The Little Mermaid is a statue that's very famous there. And I've seen it before when I was little, but I saw it again this summer. So I just really felt the need to paint it. And actually the room I'm sitting in, my parents, this is like the TV room. My parents are deciding to redo the whole thing, kind of. They just repainted the walls. So right now there isn't a couch in here. And my dad actually asked me to paint a larger version of just the statue on the rocks. So to just paint a bigger version of Little Mermaid. So that's actually going to be probably hung up back there once I do make that. But I made this one just kind of for myself. Casey's back here, by the way. Probably see. My dog, a little cute. Anyway, about this painting, the biggest thing for me about this when I was just looking at her is just kind of a sense of yearning, I guess you could say, and just being still, being there all the time, and having all these tourists come every single day taking pictures of you. And something that stuck to me, we went on a guided canal tour through Copenhagen. Love it there, so beautiful. And the tour guide did talk about how the Little Mermaid is, what's to be said, one of the most disappointing tourist attractions all in Europe, I guess. And I don't know, I just kind of felt sad. Yes, I know it's a statue, whatever, but over time, the past many, I don't even know how many years, a lot of people have vandalized her. I think her head's been taken off a couple times. People have spray painted it, trying to make political statements, or just, I don't know, people being funny. But I believe people say that it's the most disappointing because she is very little. In the painting, it doesn't really do that. If you look at it, you would think it's a big statue, kind of like Statue of Liberty or something, but it is not. The statue is probably the exact size of me, on a rock, so maybe even smaller. It's a pretty small statue, and it's on these big rocks right in the water on the edge where all these people walk by all these other beautiful parts. In the modern days now, you go anywhere to do anything, concerts, tourist attractions, anything, people are always wanting to film and take pictures. And it's not I'm hating, obviously I took a picture of her, but it's important to actually be in the moment and not only want to do something for the sake of being able to post that you did it or so and so. So I did decide to add that into painting, and I included the phones and all the hands. Obviously it was a lot more. When I went, it kind of covered up her, I don't know, just a concept of her being the most disappointing tourist attraction, but still people go to see it, and all she is just Little Mermaid. That's in the name, and people are disappointed that she's so little or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, so something really stuck with me, and it's also just my heritage of Denmark, and I just had such a great time, and I always do every time I go there. And this summer I was able to bring my boyfriend, and he loved it, and it's just so relaxing, the way of life, and everyone's so present, everyone's so healthy and happy and just taken care of. And yeah, so I don't know, this is my little Denmark piece. So going back to the yearning, it's almost the story of Little Mermaid. We know the cartoon version about how she's undersea, and then she wants to have legs and see the real world, part of your world. Yeah, she's just yearning for a real life, not to be a mermaid. But this is before that cartoon movie came out. Obviously this statue was a thing before that. It's kind of a longer tale that doesn't end so nicely, according to my aunt, like she ends up dying in the end. But yeah, it's very similar where it's like she wants to be human, but once she is up here, it's just not what, she expected it to be. And so it's kind of like seeing the statue. She's stuck there forever in time with all these like humans alive, even though, yes, again, I know it's a statue. It's just like going deeper into it. So yeah, it's also just part of like just being. That's the biggest thing for me, that like when I get overwhelmed or there's a lot going on, it's more of like just be. Okay, be in the moment, look around what's at you, understand that everything is temporary, whether it's good or bad. Everything is temporary. Some other things I wanted to talk about going into my life. I kind of talked about in my last video, like, keeping a positive attitude and, where I was living in my situation when I did make my last video. I was just like, I had a whole summer where I was like living on my own, right on the boardwalk and working like a chill job. And it's like I knew that was temporary, so every single day I made sure like not to take it for granted and be doing something and be grateful. And so that's why coming back up here and like the winter depression, like this winter was rough. Let me tell you that. But we're here. It's springtime. It's already April. I'm proud of myself for sticking to it. I've been applying for a lot of jobs because I did graduate last year. I'm also like working like serving jobs and then also working on side hustles, trying to still be creative, trying to still work out. So, there's just a lot, and it's just different when, you live with your parents. But yeah, so I'm definitely in a different place now, but that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. I definitely think I'm closer to like my dreams and my goals. I knew like leaving where I was like at the point of time when I did make the last video, I was like ready for changes and all these things, and knew coming up that it wasn't gonna be as good as how I was feeling. Yeah, you just gotta keep pushing through every day and taking care of yourself. Like wintertime, I talked about this with some of my friends, it's almost like a human hibernation where like you don't want to go outside. Obviously it's way too cold, there's not much to do, and then you're just like inside, and it almost drives you a little crazy. Like you forget what the sunlight is like. Hibernation, because it's time to look within. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to work out as much as possible, still trying to journal and read and better myself in every way, as much energy as I had to be able to do that. Something I feel like I want to touch on that kind of relates to this painting is the universal law of detachment. My next video, I'm going to keep up with these videos, so I already have a plan for the next one, and I have the painting already. So the next video will kind of talk about law of attraction, and will be more, more positive vibe, I guess. Law of detachment is very important when it comes to manifesting things, and also just for your like mental stability, I guess. Like putting it this way, not forcing things. Detachment is kind of a solution to, or the first step of a solution, I should say, to most things. Like obviously there are bad ways to be detached when it comes to like certain relationships or whatever, but I'm just talking about personal life. Let's say for my instance, I really want a certain job in a certain area, but like thinking about it too much and being so desperate, having desperation or unsatisfaction with the way things are right now, that kind of creates this resistance in your energy and not really aligning you with your path, because you're so focused on not having it and not even seeing like what you do have right now. And so when you detach, you step back into this awareness. Awareness and consciousness is the one thing all living things on earth have in common. That is our true self. That is your higher self. Just pure awareness. The best way to put it is like thinking hello in your head and realizing that that thought, hello, is a thought, but you're the one seeing hello. You're the one hearing the hello. but there's no reaction. That's kind of like detachment. Like if you have a stressful moment at work, everybody's kind of running around, or something broke, or there's an unhappy customer. Instead of letting your inner emotions get too worked up, obviously it's natural to react a certain way, but if you just detach and realize, okay, this is temporary, what's meant to be will be, and so on. So law of detachment is a big thing I taught myself a few years ago, along with law of attraction, but again, I'll get into that. I do feel like it's important to talk about detachment first, because of like talking about law of attraction, it can kind of easily get you wrapped up in that desperation where it's like, oh, I really want like $1 million, like I'm attracting, but that's not how it is. Like, here's the biggest thing, and why I'm titling this video what it is the trust. Like, detaching is kind of trusting. So I do believe that hope is a very important thing. It's also been a very important thing for my family as we've gone through hard times, and it's been an important message for us to hope that things will look up, like there are brighter days ahead. And I do still have hope within me. I think it's a beautiful sentiment, basically. But as for when it comes to trying to bring in new things to my life, it's all about replacing the hope with trust, because hope is kind of like, oh, I really hope this happens, but there's still part of you that doesn't think it will, or isn't really sure, just, oh, I hope like this and this, or whatever, I hope I get this job. But when you say, I trust that I'll get this job, or I'll trust that I'll have the right position, I'll trust that I'll get the best opportunity, I'll trust that I'll be dating the right person, like, then that really helps you detach and realize that most things are out of our hands. Like, there's a lot that humans as a species cannot control, and that's where we really go wrong with like control issues. And that goes back to detachment, like trying not to force things. This is just like such a concept like I'm very passionate about, because it's something I remind myself of for years and years, because it's just so true. Like, basic example, let's say, like, this happens to everybody. When you lose something, say you can't find your keys, but they're in your house somewhere. Say like your keys would be your ideal job that you want to get, and say your house is just like your life in general, or just the world in general, and it's like you're looking for these keys, you're stressing, I need to find these keys, tearing your house apart, like looking for everything, having a mental breakdown because you're going to be late to something, you can't find your keys, and then when you finally give up, decide to take an Uber or something, or ask someone for a ride, you find the keys. Like, and this can apply to so many situations. That's just like the first example that comes to my head. But trying to force things too much really makes you almost like your worst enemy sometimes. And that's where like taking accountability is very important, and that's why law of detachment also helps with taking accountability, because your ego, which is the opposite of your higher self, your ego gets very worked up about not having control, or just like thinking your emotions are permanent, or that things are just gonna keep getting worse and worse, thinking all like these negative things. When you detach, to be like, okay, I'll find him eventually, or like, things look up, because you're neutralizing your energy, you're trusting that it's gonna be fine. Well, especially people in our generation have a lot of trust issues. Trust is like whatever you believe in. If you're not so much of a universe person, but if you believe in God or whatever religion, or if you don't believe in anything, whatever, it's just trusting in whatever it is, because we all know like there are things much bigger than us. There's 8 billion people on earth. Each person is living their own life as deeply and as intricate as everyone. And that's what I'm saying, like this consciousness that we have, I share with my dog, I share with the plants, it's just awareness. And this dog body, this human body, the plant's leaves, those are like the vehicle that we're in. So it's like, that's why meditating is important. not just like spiritually, mentally, but physically too. It sends chemicals that lower your cortisol and help you sleep better, and so many other benefits. So it's like, if you've never meditated, I always suggest like looking up YouTube 5-minute, 10-minute guided meditation videos. That's how I got started, and I'm at a point, I've done it for so many years, I can kind of get myself into meditative space. But sometimes I do prefer the guided ones because it's good for visualizations. But yeah, something that, like, when I try to just meditate on my own, if I'm sitting outside, starting with realizing that I can hear without trying, my heart is beating and flowing blood through my body without me trying, I'm blinking without trying, like all of this is just my body. One thing that's been the exact same my whole life, because your body grows from when you're a baby, is this awareness. You're pushed out of your mom, given a name, and then over time, favorite color, you start to talk, develop personality. All of that is ego. And I'm not saying ego is bad, but that's just what it is. It's what humans have. But babies were still alive and we're still people before having this name and this personality. And the number one thing that they have is just awareness, being able to look or just hear and be aware that things are happening. And with detachment, you can look at a chair, look at a table without labeling it a table or a chair, just seeing everything as it is all around you. That's also another thing about detachment and just being, is just seeing everything the way it is without labeling it or having expectations. That's also something I wanted to touch on, was the importance of releasing expectations. That's a big thing about detachment, is let's say, again, I'm just gonna keep referring to my personal, how this applies to my life right now, but it can apply to many things. As for job searching wise, let's say I want to be paid, ideally I would want $70,000 a year or $60,000 a year, but most entry-level jobs might be $50,000 or even less. Whatever the position is, and I want to have a nice boss or a nice office or good location, good hours, things like that. And that's what I'm expecting out of a first job. But when you release these expectations, sometimes that gives you the opportunity to receive things much better than you ever thought. Because when we plan things, when we force things, that goes back to trying to force, say you're planning something with your friends and you plan it 2 weeks in advance, the time, the place, everything, and then you get to it and everyone's vibes are off, and then you might not be able to get into the bar you want to get into, or things like that. And then it's just kind of I planned this for so long and I really want it to be fun. That's happened to me, that's happened to a lot of people I know, but that's forcing it. But then I feel a lot of people can relate when you do spontaneous things with your friends. You randomly just call them on a Wednesday and they're like, hey, want to come over and go to the mall or something real quick, or run some errands with me? And you're like, yeah. And it's so casual, and it ends up being the best time, just because you're going with the flow of life, not trying to force it, just let things happen. So I kind of strayed away from the example I was giving about expectations. But yeah, job wise with the expectations, releasing that, you just kind of appreciate whatever is there. This also can apply to relationships, in my romantic relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, everything. If you keep expecting, say your love language is gifts and someone else's love language is words of affirmation or physical touch, you may be expecting, oh, I really want him to get me a really good gift, this and that. But they know how to show love in a different way that's equally as purposeful. But just see you having the expectation, okay, I'm gonna get a gift, and then you're just disappointed when you don't get one, but they give you something else that's still just as loving, that can mess with your state of, I guess, attracting. So it's just when you release expectations about things, you learn to just appreciate whatever is there, because you don't expect anything at all. And that's not saying not to have standards, of course. Standards and releasing expectations are different. Like, obviously, you're not going to accept disrespect or negative things, but like practicing detaching and centering yourself and being grounded naturally, you won't attract things that aren't in your standards, if that makes sense. A lot of people get like overwhelmed when you feel like you want to be productive. um for me, like, I can get overwhelmed too. Like, I want to work out, I want to like make money, make a painting, like do things online, like organize things, walk my dog, like so many things that I want to do. This definitely has helped me. Like, if there's a lot of things that you want to do with your life, like you want to start eating better, you want to start working out more, taking care of your mental, taking care of your hygiene, having better relationships with everyone in your life, so much like to stress about. But I do always recommend like going in first, because every relationship you have with everyone else is a reflection of you. Once you do start connecting with your higher self and having like these peaceful revelations, almost, this is literally like a fact, naturally, like if you're meditating and journaling and like taking care of your mental health, spiritual health, naturally you will take care of your physical body, because that's just how. I wish I still had the book. I gave it to someone to borrow, but this did apply to me too, because when I started reading this book, I wasn't working out as much as I wanted to, wasn't cooking, always eating out. And then I started like reading it and applying it to all these ways in my life, and then naturally, like, I have the energy and motivation. That's what it is. You get the motivation to want to work out, to want to eat healthy, to want to do all these good things for yourself, because like you're like nourished deep within. So I do have an Etsy shop now. I opened it in like August. I don't know if I touched on that last time, but it's a work in progress. I've had to like kind of rebrand a few times, because there's like mock-ups. I make like printable posters, like printable wall art, also printable greeting cards. I also have some paintings on there, as well as like printable coloring books, and I'm just gonna keep like expanding things. I do have a bundle on there. It's kind of like a green and white earthy theme, and the quote says appreciate everything, and that takes me back like many years ago. There's another quote about expect nothing, appreciate everything, and I feel like that's like the symbol of detachment. Like, gratitude applies to detachment and attraction. Gratitude and love are one and the same. Gratitude is just so important in your everyday life. To express to yourself, like telling yourself that you're grateful for you and that you're proud of you, telling like earth that you're grateful for like fresh air, and telling your family you're grateful they're there, and just filling yourself up with gratitude really increases your attraction level, and it helps you detach, because when you take that step back, stop focusing on something you really want or something you really don't have, you detach and realize, wow, I have all these other things. My life is abundant right now, although I don't have this right now. It's coming, it's on its way. So self-talk is extremely important. The things that come out of your mouth are way more important than you think. That's why like every now and then I try to challenge myself to like go 24 hours without complaining about one thing, and it's very difficult, and I recommend everybody trying to do it, because you may be aware that you complain about things, but you may not be aware of how much until you try not to do it at all. And just little complaints, even like judging things, like detaching is a good way to help yourself kind of cut those habits. And like if there are things you need to vent about, of course, like do it, but do it mindfully. Like if you want to talk about you had a really hard day and like at work and everything's stressing you out, you got bills to pay and whatever, you can let that all out. Especially journaling is good for that if you don't really have anyone that'll listen to you. But once you're done, that energy is out of you. It's kind of like, picture I have fire right here. I'm writing it out. It's kind of flowing out onto the paper. Just get it out of you. If you don't like to journal, make a video just talking to yourself. If you need someone to talk to, and you could always delete it, like, or watch it back in the future. It's just great to see progress and growth. I don't know. I just put a lot of thoughts out here, I don't know. It's been a long time. Like literally, the last video I made was in like October. Now it's April. I really took a long hibernation. I just like have so many more ideas for YouTube videos. Like I want to make videos with my friends and just like maybe just like talk while I'm walking my dog, just about things, like kind of to give a conclusion. Just being, detaching, trusting, and releasing expectations. Like it's like kind of like instinct to say I hope or I want. Let's say talking about being rich is like a general thing everybody in our generation wants, obviously, because why not? But it's like, oh, I really want to be rich, or I wish I was rich. But for me, like for the longest time, once I've learned about these laws, like because energy is energy, these are like, this is like factual, this isn't like delusional, like this is literally how it works. And so many people have success stories because they learn how to master this energy and like be one with the flow of life rather than trying to push up against it and kind of knock yourself out of alignment with the things you do want by acting like you need them right now. Like, yes, I want to be rich, but here's the thing, it's like I trust I'm gonna be successful. But here's the thing with detachment is allowing that to come in however it looks. Right now, like I have my business degree, I would like to be in marketing, PR, things like that. And I do want an entry level job, get my foot in the door. I have some interviews this week, so wish me luck if you're watching this. And like I've wanted to live in like a penthouse and maybe have a like beach house someday, but it's more of like, what is this energy or what is this emotion or whatever it is that those things will bring you. Say it's like, oh, I really want to be rich. Well, why do you want to be rich? Well, because I want freedom. And it's like deciding what the aspect or factor, like the biggest factor of having this thing is to you. You could try to find little ways that you feel freedom in your day to day, and then relate that when like you're meditating about like in the future being rich and being free. Or it's like, I really want to have a good relationship, and it's like, well, why do you want that? Well, it's because I want to be loved. And so you can try to look for those ways within yourself. Again, I've spoken about this, like being your own best friend, and how self-love is the first step to attracting all different types of things, whether relationship, job, everything, health. So yeah, a lot of things are easier said than done. Like I just kind of spelled all this out, but I hope something did stick. I mainly wanted to talk about this because it's like a good reminder for me to get all out, because a lot of these things like I've known for a while, but over time you kind of like stray and get back wrapped up into life. But trying to center myself. I'm trying to do my best, like spreading that energy, this light, this love, because it all circles back. Yeah, so I'm just in a phase of my life for a while now. I'm just trusting. I've literally applied to like over 200 probably jobs since like November, and I've gotten a lot of rejection emails, done a lot of interviews that went nowhere. So but I'm still keeping a positive attitude. I'm trusting that all these things have not worked out, because the right thing will happen, and hopefully it will happen very soon. One of my best friends, she just got a job with like an MBA team. I'm so happy for her. She was in the same place as me, but she started applying a while longer. It's just like nerve-wracking, because it's like a while after graduating, you start like everyone in your family, all your friends are asking you like, okay, anything work out? And you're just like, I'm trying, you'll know like if it happens. Yeah, so I'm really happy for her. Something worked out, and it's given me a little bit of like reassurance, I guess, that if you are patient enough and you know keep grinding, keep doing whatever, because you know she was hustling at a bar, I'm hustling at 2 restaurants, like the right thing will come, and I'll just be so happy that all the other things didn't work out. So I'm really hoping the interview that I have tomorrow is that thing, or I'm trusting. Look at me. I'm trusting that the interview I had tomorrow, it's like my second interview with this place that I was like referred through, because they do say all throughout college like it is who you know, and that is fucking true. So I reached out to like someone in my family that's like successful in business, and she gave me some contacts. So this interview stems from a referral, so that's why I'm a little more trusting, I guess. I don't know. Even if it doesn't, like, having interview experience is good, and like, if not, it'll just lead me one step closer to the next thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing me. Spring is like such a beautiful time. Something I do want to add in quick is like last week I had to go to my old high school to pick up something for my mom, and I haven't really been there since I graduated. I don't think, like 5 years ago. No, yeah, 5 years ago. Oh my! I saw like my old principal and just the old school, and it just take me back in time because like when I was in high school, it was very, very rough. Like I was going through a very tough time, not really dealing with a lot of the typical issues teenage girls deal with. Although I like did have those, but I was also like 15, 16, dealing with some very heavy trauma. Not that like no one else was. Just like personally me, it was so much to handle. I slept pretty much all through high school. I'm so grateful I had so many great friends. Yeah, high school was a rough time to me from pretty much the start to the end. At the same time, I'm grateful that's where I went to school. I met a lot of my close friends. I'm very grateful, like a lot of the friends that I'm still in touch with and see and get along with, I've known since we were kids. So it's amazing. So being back there is like a full circle, and something that's crazy, I'm gonna add the picture. I didn't realize until I got back in the car, like to leave, my mileage at the end had 999. And when I see angel numbers, usually like it's just a quick, oh okay, like I have a good idea of what most of them are. But every now and then I'll look it up just to affirm, because I feel like it'll be at like a special moment. And exactly like being at my old high school when I haven't been there in forever, seeing that, I was like, okay, I have to like reread what the meaning is. Just talking about like the ending of like almost like a karmic circle, and like urging you to close certain chapters and like previous burdens and all this. So I was just like, wow, like it just could not have been more perfect. I feel like reading that and being there and just feeling how I am, I'm starting to really not feel like an adult, but more of an adult. I'm like just like kind of maturing. Not that I wasn't already mature, but like in other ways, more outwardly. I feel like internally for a long time, since I've been through a lot of trauma, I feel mature, but like outwardly, there's still some things that were like young girl vibes. But I'm starting to, ease into my mature adult woman, like baddie, whatever. So I just felt like it was fitting, like spring season. I do really have. I'm just excited. Like I know the best thing is coming for me soon, and it's gonna be better than I expected because I've done all this inner work to trust, and it's like it's really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I know that me being grateful for like being able to like live in my parents' house and being around my dog all the time, and like food, roof over my head, like a car, a job, like safe area, like there's so many positive things to point out in my life, but there's still some days where it's like I want to complain about a lot of things. But the fact that like even right now, although this is my ideal situation, I know that I can still find a way to be satisfied and grateful and feel love. And so when I do have all these things I'm manifesting and trusting that'll come to fruition, it'll be greater than I expected, because I show the universe that like I can appreciate everything. I don't expect anything, but I appreciate it all. And I will give back to others when I do get these things, because I want everybody to feel these good vibes. Like that's another thing, like if you do start detaching and practicing your mindfulness, you're going to want to tell other people about it, especially when you have close people that are struggling very deeply. It's one of the only things that have really helped me push forward and just grow and evolve and feel my best. So I don't know how many people will watch, but if you did, thank you so much for watching. I know the lighting has gone down. Just kind of realized that the sun did set. Hopefully it's not too dark. Please leave a comment and a like and a subscribe. If you watch this again to the end, I love you, I love you, I love you. Yeah. Hope to see you next time. Shout out Little Mermaid, shout out Denmark, shout out all the tourists. Whenever I do make the big painting for this room, maybe I'll incorporate that in the future. Who knows? Much love, peace, love, XO. Happy spring. Happy season blooming. Bye, y'all.